I served on the space station of Mimas as a liaison for the Earth Embassy, working with many alien races.
Jean-Charles Moyen, Franco-American SSP, aboard the Solaris spaceship, a part of the Solar Warden. My mission, protection and rescue slaves on other planets.
Rebecca Rose, Psychic Super Soldier, Moon, Mars, Kuiper Belt, and beyond.
Namaste. I'm Yanak Prakash. I am a multidimensional healer, work directly with the Dormant Council, and infinite creation through the oneness with all that it is.
We know if you won't tell them the truth, we will. Hi, I'm James Rink.
I served on the space station of Mimas as a liaison for the Earth Embassy, working with many alien races.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Super Soldier Talk. My name is James Rink, and I'm the host of this show. And today we're going to be talking about the Jeepers Creepers. So, just quick look at the chat. How's everybody doing? And put in there. Okay, hi Nikki and hi Jimmy. Jimmy, are you there? Yeah, why don't you unmute yourself? How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm here, James.
Okay, great. How many people in the chat have actually seen the movie or movies, right? Actually, multi-movie parts on this one. Okay, great. Well, not everybody raised their hand at once. So what we did is we watched the movie, and I pulled clips because I got the Harry Henderson's movie taken down. So that one we had too many clips from the movie. So what we did is we did stills this time. And Jimmy, we're getting feedback from your mic. There, so much better. So what I thought we could do is let's start off with the bios. And Jimmy's bio is very long, so I'm going to only read the part related to this show. Okay. And if you want to go in the description, you can read more. So today, former MIB agent Jimmy Paine recounts his harrowing encounter with the Creeper in 1972. Jimmy, did I get the date right, or was it 1973? I can't remember what you said. Was it 72 or 73?
I would say late 72, early 73, right in that timeline.
Okay, thank you. So this experience inspired the 2001 horror film Jeepers Creepers. According to Paine, the entity first breached our reality when the Sage radar tower at Thomasville Air Force Station in Alabama opened a portal into the Bermuda Triangle. So that happened on December 5th, 1945. And this date's important because that day there was the disappearance of Flight 19, a U.S. Navy training flight of 5 Grumman TBF Avenger torpedo bombers over the Triangle. So all 14 aviators aboard Flight 19 were lost, as well as 13 crew members of the Martin PBM Mariner dispatched from the Naval Air Station, Banana River, to search for them. So that was a loss of total. I'm going to do my mathematics. So we have 32 lives. But Jimmy, I don't think the Creeper was actually eating those people, right? Or maybe he was. I don't know. You want to mention?
James, I just want to talk about what happened during my time rather than speculate.
That's totally fine. Okay. All right. So the Creeper is a time traveling alien, or not, what we call cryptid, right? Is said to have claimed the lives of 600 people At the initial incursion, it lay dormant. So from 45 to 72, it's believed it was laid dormant in the limestone caverns beneath central Florida, where it was reawakened in 72. The film features the abandoned St. James Church, located at Dunellen and Ocala, Florida, where the creeper stored its victims. In a twist worthy of the creature itself, the church really did burn down years later, cementing what many call the Mandela effect around these events. Because in the movie, the church burned down, but the church in the movie was actually the real church where the creeper was, but it didn't burn down yet, obviously, because you can't make a movie, so it burned down later. The MIB file was redacted and became Deeper Creepers, directed by Victor Salva and produced by American Zoetrope with Francis Ford Coppola as executive producer. The film was released by United Artists and MGM Distribution Company on August 31st, 2001. So also joining us is Nikki Jacobs. She is a psychic medium who she's also ET contactee. Getting some feedback again. Okay. She is a surrogate mother of numerous hybrid children who was once forced to participate in the SSP as a pilot. And due to specific ufology knowledge, Nikki became a targeted individual. She is an experiencer of a plethora of paranormal experiences on a regular basis, including where in astral she traveled with friends through a portal through 7 vortexes into another galaxy. And she has done various energy works and worked with psychics, energy workers, and astral protectors, both individually and on teams, and experienced extensive use of higher consciousness work. Nikki has some cryptid experiences, was on the ufology team, and has extensive experiences with spirits, angels, hierarchies, and the Fae. Okay, we're going to stop there because, he was in Star Trek, right? That's the Star Trek, Predator, the Alien movies. Oh my gosh, the It movie, right? Oh no, that was in the creature named It. So, and we also talked about the Vandenberg Air Force Base mission to the moon under Apollo 20. Okay, Jimmy, where should we begin with this? Why don't you unmute yourself?
Well, let me first start off. This was about 1972. Now, a couple of things was going on in 1972, 1973. I don't think they're directly related to the case, but there is some abnormality going on during that time period. So I'm going to read off about a dozen things that we need to be aware of. So to be mindful. Okay, in Liberty, Kentucky, there was an encounter February the 27th, 1973. A young couple reported seeing a large glowing object land in a nearby field, claimed to have seen small humanoid figures moving around the object. The encounter reportedly left both of them shaken, and their story was covered in local news. The others reports I have coming in is 1973 was a landmark year when it comes to UFO and alien encounters, often referred to as the 1973 UFO flap. There were hundreds of UFOs and alien encounters reported all across the United States and the world at large. Naples, Florida, UFO flap, August of 1973. Residents reported multiple sightings, described light hybrid objects that was seen in Naples, Florida. You have one in New Mexico, September the 10th, 1973. A UFO was reported seen over a military base in New Mexico. Multiple witnesses described seeing a saucer-shaped object with bright lights. The incident was allegedly investigated by the military. That's unusual, but no official explanation was given. That was done by the military itself. The Fort Benning incident, September 1973. Soldiers at Fort Benning, Georgia, reported seeing a large disc-shaped object with bright lights hovering over the base. Some soldiers claimed to have experienced missing time and strange dreams after the incident. The case was reportedly investigated again by the military authorities, but no official explanation was given. Skylab 3 UFO sighting, September the 20th, 1973. Astronauts aboard Skylab 3 reported observing a red mysterious object near the space station. This sighting is noticeably due to the credibility of the trained astronaut observers. We had the Manfield helicopter incident. 4 Army Reserve helicopter crew members reported a near collision with a cigar-shaped UFO near Charles Mill Lake in Ohio. The incident was corroborated by witnesses in Richland and Ashland counties. Pascagoula, Mississippi, October 11, 1973. Charles Hicks, by the way, he just died not long ago, and Calvin Park reported being abducted near the Pascagoula River. The case gained a lot of attention. The witness and their contents, the witnesses were consistent with accounts through over the years. The Ripley UFO encounter. A family in Ripley, Mississippi reported seeing a UFO land in a nearby field and observed small robot-like beings emerge from it. The Ohio UFO wave, October 1973. Throughout October 1973, there were numerous reports of UFO sightings across Ohio. The sightings ranged from mysterious lights to large, structured craft. The wave of sightings attracted the attention of both the media and UFO researchers. The Falkland Medal Man, October 17, 1973. The police chief of Falkland, Alabama, claimed to have encountered and photographed a metallic humanoid figure. The incident occurred after receiving a call about a UFO landing. This is an important one here. The Millstream Air Force Base incident, November 1973. Security personnel at the Millstream Air Force Base in Montana report seeing a large glowing object hovering near the base's nuclear missile silos. The object reportedly caused electronic malfunctions in some of the silos. The incident was allegedly investigated by the Air Force, but details remain classified. Now, I'm not claiming these reports are related. All I'm stating is that we had strangeness in the skies during the late 1972, 1973. Now I'm going to get into my story. During the time, I'm stationed out at Nellis Air Force Base, which is currently at Indian Springs. Basically, that's Creech Air Force Base, but I was at Indian Springs, Nevada. And in 1972, the last public flight to the moon occurred. That was Apollo 17. And because during that year, we had Black September terrorist group threatened to kidnap some of the astronauts or either members of the astronauts' family. So NASA moved the astronauts along with their families onto, um, you know, moved them on the NASA base. And um, they ended up, like I said, going to the moon, but it put a lot of stress on the astronauts and on the family members. And, von Braun had retired about 4 or 5 months prior to the Apollo 17 launch. So it was under new management from a director, Fletcher, I believe his name was. But before Apollo 17 was to take off to the moon, I would say maybe 5 months prior to the moon launch, I met a, 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 a female and her brother, and they were. I'm going to refer to them as Derry and Trish because that's the names that we're going to use tonight. We're not going to use their real names. We're going to use the names they used in the movie for privacy reasons, James. But when I first met Trish, I really liked her. She's a fun person. She's a presidential model, and she was single, and that's what kind of caught my attention. I thought she was nice looking. She had a fantastic personality, and her brother, um, he was going to college, taking a college course, and he was extremely intelligent. Now, in the secret space program, occasionally they'll pick somebody um, to become an astronaut, and he was going to be the astronaut, not a secret astronaut, but he was going to join NASA and fly on the space shuttle. He was going to be one of the crew members. So when they retired the Apollo uh, program, they had to go ahead and wire up and put all the gauges and all the valves and all the pipe fittings into to the space shuttle. So he knew how to read the blueprints, and he knew all about solenoids and valves and such. So he was going to go to college in Florida because they still had to, build the space shuttle. And but what happened was Trish, getting back to her, James, she she does counterintelligence. Um, because I told you about Black September trying to blow up the space shuttle or either kidnap one of the astronauts. What she does, she's kind of like a social butterfly. She's very pretty, and men will talk to a female quicker than anything in the world. So, what she does, she floats around, she collects information, and then she feeds it back into intelligence. Okay. Now, I say about 5 or 6 months before the Apollo 17 took off is when I met her. I'm more familiar with her. I have met Derry, but uh, I was told I would end up working with her, and I was looking forward to it because I had not long lost Kathy O'Brien. Okay. Um, So,
What do you mean lost?
well, I think at the time, James, Kathy, uh, she was taking a temporary leave of her duty. I think she had to take care of one of her children, and usually they don't. When children are real young, they don't like to disturb them from their mother. She would eventually came back on in, but temporarily, I would have went over and worked with Trish while Kathy was taking care of her baby. You know what I mean? Um, Sometimes it's best the mother take care of the child rather than a babysitter. So,
Wait, hold on, Jimmy. Let's give Nikki a chance. Nikki, do you have any questions or anything? Because we didn't really get introduce you that much.
I'm getting little psychic things here and there, but not quite ready to go in. I questions about the Naples, Florida one. What and then questions about Pascagoula. Was there one or two individuals that never actually came forward that anybody found out about?
I can't tell you that because part
Okay.
of when I ran it off, there's a little black box over part of that report. It Had I just read it without printing it off, I probably could have read it. But once I printed it, it
No,
blocked
I
part
got
of
it.
the
It's
report
okay.
off.
It's okay.
But the other one about the Pascagoula, um, Charles Parker. Let me see if that's his name here. I'll make double sure. Oh, Charles Hicks. Um, he passed away maybe a few months ago. Uh, so he was the only one left. Now Clyde Parker died several years ago, but Charles Hicks just passed away. That's the one in Pascagoula, Mississippi. And incidentally, that shipyard is next to another shipyard. Does a lot of military. Uh, they do military work for the Navy. But the shipyard he was at was an abandoned shipyard where they would tow all the old tow scrap, the ships that needs to be, dismantled or, discarded of. So it didn't have any security guards over there. Um, where were we at, James?
Yes. So we were discussing about Daryl and Trish and Kathy O'Brien. Um, and then we had
Okay.
about Kathy O'Brien being lost or whatever.
Well, when I meant lost, I meant she was busy taking care of her child. Uh, but they had told me, said, well, you're going to be working with Trish, and for the time being. But I met her and I talked with her, and like I said, I was looking forward to working with her. Of course, I didn't think it would be something this horrible that would happen to her concerning her brother. But let me go on now with the story and kind of tell you how I got involved in it. Now, when you when you're watching the movie Jeeper Creepers, um, this is really a two-part movie, a part one and part two. Part one, we're just going to get into explaining what happened, and that way you'll have a better idea if we decide to do Jeeper Creepers 2. But primary tonight, we're going to talk about Jeeper Creepers 1 movie. Now, if you take an intelligence report and it's classified, and you go through the Freedom of Information, you'll get the report, but it's blacked out. I'm sorry, James, you have to put up with that phone till it stops ringing. But what happens is once they wait a second, James. Let's just ring for a second. Good, it stopped ringing. Um, when you once this freedom of information is requested, you get a freedom of information report and it's blacked out. So what happens is you take somebody like a movie company or maybe a writer, he will get it, and all thing that he has to do is just fill the black part, the blackout part, and he just plugs in,
Redacted, Jimmy. It's redacted.
yeah, redacted. Um, I'm trying to get the word in my mouth here, but you hit it right on the spot. So they just add to it. Okay. Now, let me go on with the story from this point. Right about the late 72, okay, the leaves have pretty much fallen from the trees. They're everything is, getting towards the end of the year. And Trish and Derry are from that part. I think they're from the next county over from where the church is at. Now, the church you have in the background, I don't think that's the church. Where did you get that picture from, James?
I have Night Cafe. Yeah, I could show. We have it in here. So
I
like I
don't.
said, we
I
have.
don't think. Well, the reason I kind of got a little bit, to the point on the church, what is unusual here, is that the the actual church this happened at, where they actually filmed it at, the movie company actually filmed it, was actually the same church where the bodies were found, which is kind of unusual. I I'll
Jimmy,
tell
do I have,
you.
do I have permission to, because we have the pictures. I can scroll forward on these pictures when you're ready.
Okay, go ahead.
Just,
Go ahead
okay.
and move the
I'm
pictures
trying to
around.
see. Is this the one? Did it turn? Because I have, okay, no, it didn't turn. I have like 3 of these things open. Okay, try this one. Did that turn? Nope. Sorry. No, it must be this one. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Well, before you go any further, now the truck in the background. Now that's an old ambulance from the 30s. Okay, it's a military ambulance from the 30s, or either the late 20s. So it's been souped up. It can run real quick. Okay, it's a military ambulance. And what has happened? Some collector had it, probably had it in a barn, but the creeper here probably killed the owner. Okay, that's how the creature got a hold of the vehicle. And in the back of the vehicle is a lot of like saws and knives and such. The words, he's going around cutting bodies up. Okay, now when Derry and Trish is during the weekend, and she has gone up, uh, and she has gotten with her brother, and they're going to drive from the college back towards Cape Canaveral. Okay. Now they had relatives in or around Orca, Florida, somewhere up in that part of the country when they were real young, probably their grandma or an aunt or somebody. They don't live in that part where he's going to college at anymore. It's just that, when they were real young, they lived in the county next to that county there. But Nick, when both of them got together, they're driving back they're driving back east, and they see a man getting out of a truck behind an old church, and he's carrying a blanket, and is covered in blood, and he's putting the body down into the pipe. Now, that church, you misidentified it earlier tonight. That church is the old church of Orca. It's not in Orca, Florida. It's the old Orca church.
What about
Okay?
even little St. James?
Well, it could have, it could have been different denominations were in there. Maybe at one time it was St. James, but I can't tell you that. Now, when when I all right, let me let me go off my story and I'll back up and tell you about the church. Now, the pipe that you see there beside, yeah, right there. See, he's holding the body. Well, years ago, see, there's always hurricanes going through Florida, okay? Tornadoes. So what it is, there's a cellar underneath that church. A lot of people used to store their stuff in cellars, root cellars, back in the 30s, the 20s and the 30s. And but that's kind of like a civil defense shelter. It has no door on it, and it's made to be open because people that lived in that part of that community, if they needed to take shelter, and particularly if they were a member of that church, all they had to do was run there, jump in the pipe, and they slide down like a slide at a playground. Okay, so it's made to get into in a hurry. Now, when Derry and Trish after they had the man got behind them driving like a wild man, you know, uh, he passed them, and as he's getting out, dumping the body into the pipe, is when Derry and Trish saw him from the road. Okay, and if you go forward with it, you'll see him jumping back into the old ambulance and going after the brother and the sister. In fact, he will ram them from behind and they run off into a vacant field. Okay? Now, what happened, he chased them. They kept driving. After they got the car, when they got the car cranked up, um, they went back. Like I said, they went back to the church. They saw Derry got into the pipe and he went down into the pipe. Okay, he found the bodies. Well, he found the bodies in there,
You
and
just see
then
all
he
the
got out.
crows. There were a bunch of
Yeah,
crows.
Now that is the actual church. I've been to that church. Church burned down back maybe around about 1990 or so.
Well, it would have to been after the film because the film was 2001.
Well, it might have been 2010 it burned, but uh, I know it stood for about 10 years after the film. 10 years after the film was over, it burned down. Okay. Um, but what happened when he found the bodies in there? What the creeper did, he had cut one of the victims and taken out part of I think it was the liver. He cut part of the liver of one of the victims. He was still in there alive. Okay. All right.
So Jimmy,
When
it smelled bad down there,
when
right? It smelled bad.
Yeah, like rats, dead rats, plus decomposing bodies. It had a smell of death. Now, see him going into the
Yeah.
pipe.
And then he got stuck, right?
Well, she let go of her brother, and he slid down. There's about a 7-foot drop. It used to be a a walkway. Used to some stairs you go up on. When you come down, when you come down the pipe, you land on a platform, and you came down about 3 or 4 steps, but they had taken out that wooden platform. That's why he fell so hard.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, Now he gets back out, and he's real shook up, and they leave. Um, they leave there.
Wait, Jimmy, this guy was still alive.
He was still alive. He's got part of his liver cut. I think it was his liver, from what I understood.
And Jimmy, you said this guy was a time traveler. So do you think this guy was even from this?
No, what I said was he was studying to be an astronaut.
No, the creeper was a time traveler. So the body could have been from a different time.
Well, now let before we go any further. Now there's a state park called Rainbow State Park or Rainbow Park. It's probably about. Can you pull up? Go to Google or go to Google. Go to Google Earth and type in Rainbow Park, Florida. You shrink that and just put up put that up for us right quick. Or will it let you do that? I can't hear you, James.
You're muted.
Yeah, I was trying to click on it. It just got gummed up. My computer. Okay. Rainbow Springs State Park. Sorry about
Rainbow
that.
Park, not Springs. Rainbow Park, Florida.
Are you sure? Because last time we had this conversation, it was the. I mean, I can show you what I got. How about that? And you can.
Okay, well, just show me. We'll figure it out once we get there.
Okay.
James, I can't.
I could try to make it bigger. I could do
Get a little
this.
closer. Get a little closer.
Here's the Rainbow River.
Not, all right, all right. That part, James, please don't jerk it so fast. Real smooth it. Now, um, do you see that that forested part where all the trees are at,
Affirmative.
and you see like there's a stream to the left there of the screen.
Yes.
All right. Now you see that subdivision behind that stream?
You mean along the road? This right here?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
See all those houses?
Yes.
All right. Well, back in 1972, nobody, not all that wasn't developed. All those houses have been built since then. That used to be real rural, okay? Now, there was a report of a UFO seen. James, go back down to it.
I was just
Tighten it
trying to
back up.
if you can see this is
I
all
know
of Hawaii City now.
I know, but we hadn't. I'm not ready to move on yet.
Well, I wasn't gonna
Not
move.
that, not that close.
It
But
was one of these
back,
homes though that you wanted to show, right?
James, just back out a little bit. Don't get so close. Right there. Now, um, I went into that park and I looked around and I found some landing marks where maybe a spacecraft might, came down in that park. And I walked all through those wooded area there to that creek there. Now, if you watch the movie, you see Trish and Daryl drive up to a woman's house and she's got a bunch of cats. And they Trish wants to use her phone and she doesn't have a phone. And while they're talking to her, uh, the creeper is seen in in her garden, and then she shoots it with a shotgun, and the creature gets into the house, and then this elderly woman, around about 60 or so, she goes into the house with a shotgun and she fires a shot or two, and a few minutes later, they see her and the creature's hugging her. He's killed the woman. And then they jump in the car and they take off. Now, once she jumped in that car and took off her brother, she drove all the way from Florida nonstop. She drew all the way from Florida nonstop to Nevada, and she showed up at a little cafe just outside the base there. You remember when you sent me that video of the time traveler and they went to a cafe and in the back room they could walk down the hall and do a time jump? Do you remember that video you sent me, James?
No, but if you happen to find it, we could share it again. So this was clips from the Catwoman. So in the movie, by the way, it's in the wrong order. They go to the Catwoman at the end.
No, they go to the Catwoman
in the movie
before they leave Florida.
Yes, but in the movie, it's at the end of the movie. But in the real life story, so before they leave Florida. Thank you, Jimmy.
Yes. Okay. She lives.
I'll pull up the cafe now.
But she lives right by that creek. See, she's the only one back there. That subdivision hadn't been built yet. Okay. It's real rural back in the 70s. And so that's why Derry and Trish stopped there. It's real close to where that church is at. All right. So once they leave the Catman's house, They drive nonstop all the way to Nellis Air Force Base to that little cafe. And it is the weekend, and they know we hang out at a cafe. Okay.
Hey, Jimmy, how about I quickly go through these pictures because
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
we're
It,
jumping
it's,
around too much. I'm trying to keep it in
well,
order. So
it's the way the movie producer did it, James.
yeah.
Something
Okay,
that
so
we did.
he's stuck down there, right? And so he tells his sister to get help, and then so he's exploring more, right, Jimmy? He finds more
He's,
bodies, some
he
weird,
finds,
whatever that
yeah.
is. Okay. So now he finds some water, wet stuff, whatever.
No, the bodies are dripping.
Yeah, but it's dripping water. It looks like moisture.
No, it's some type of liquid.
Viscous fluid.
It's
Yeah, Nikki,
fluid.
you want to? Yeah, you want to talk?
Just viscous fluid. That's what I heard.
You think this is
So
from the creature?
whatever it was, whether it was water or whatever, I just got told viscous fluid was dripping.
And then he looks up.
Now, one of the interesting things here, some of those bodies had wooden teeth. Oh, back about 50 years ago, 150, 200 years ago, they didn't have false teeth, so they would make wooden teeth. Okay, like wooden dentures. So some of those bodies were very old in there. Now, this is what I'm thinking was going on. Either the creeper can time jump, or either he was I believe he can time jump. I believe he was time jumping to different points, to different years, and getting the bodies and hide them in there. Okay. Now, when when Trish and Derry drove to Nevada, and they called the base,
Wait,
I
wait, wait, Jimmy, we still got more. So what is this? Was this their like his mother or something?
we don't know who all the bodies belong to,
Yeah.
James.
But Derry said like one of his relatives died in the movie. We think that was the relative.
No, he says that he recognized one of the bodies down there from a teenager that came missing several years prior.
Yeah, because of the ring.
Okay, what this guy was doing, he was abducting people and bringing them. He was bringing them down in the cellar. Okay, now when they got to Area 51, I think I flew from Nevada. No, no, I didn't fly. I was in Mississippi. So they passed through Mississippi to go to Nevada, and I was in Mississippi. So when I found out what had happened, I went from Mississippi to Florida to the church. And when I got there, I went down the pipe just like Derry did, and I found the bodies. And then there's a door that in the cellar. It leads back up into the house or the church. And when I the back of the church is where the preacher used to stay. It's kind of like an apartment that was in the back of the church. But when I came up through the cellar and I got into the back part of the church, there was bodies. There was a body, one or two bodies in the bathtub. He had. It's just like outside. It was just like if you ever watched the movie Chainsaw Massacre, where they cut people up. I mean, there was bodies all in the back of that church. Okay. So
Nikki, do you have anything you want to add to this? You picking up?
Not to that. I picked up a different serial killer on top of what he's talking about, which
well,
goes back to a case that I already know about. So I'm finding all of this interesting because that means that this area is there's something specific about this area,
we'll
and it's
see.
an area to really look into, and probably a group of psychics should get their asses over there to, sorry, language, should get their rears over there to check out that area because there's something going on. If I'm picking up a different serial killer on that land, something's going on with that land. That's all I wanted to say.
Let me say a few things here. Because
Mhm.
I'm not doubting that you're picking something up, but I'm going to give you a little more detail about the land and the surrounding area.
Yeah, please.
It's not uncommon to have cellars because of the tornadoes.
Okay.
Okay, a lot of the houses, particularly the old ones, have cellars because of the tornadoes. So you may be picking up other other areas right around in that area there. Now,
Okay.
being that's a park, most parks are where people do get attacked. Like Rainbow Park, that's not far from that old church there. So what I'm saying is, when I got there and I walked through it, we went ahead. The police was not involved in this. This is a MIB mission, Men in Black.
Yeah.
Okay, the bodies were all removed because they
What?
had James, they had all the strange fluid in it. Okay, it had to be studied. Now, what was you trying to question here?
Well, Jimmy, so this scene that we're looking at here was actually in area Nevada, right? But
Yeah,
what,
yes, but it's not the exact place. It's not the exact
I know.
diner.
Yeah, thank you.
It's
So
the diner.
okay, but Daryl and Derry and Trish go back. So did they come back? Did you go back to Florida with them, or are you alone when you went back to
I
Florida?
was alone. See, Trish did not know where I lived in Mississippi. She drove straight. She didn't know I lived in Mississippi. She drove nonstop with her brother all the way to Nevada. And when they did get the, I think they ended up calling from a payphone, but because at first their cell phone was down, but she drove nonstop because she was real scared. Okay. Um, now,
Now, but Jimmy, were you like? I mean, weren't you scared too, going all back in that church with this serial monster?
James, that's what I'm not, this is what I do. Okay. This is what I do. This is what men in black do. Okay. So when I got notified that there was a bunch of bodies in the uh, in the cellar there, all right, and when she saw the creeper, she knew it wasn't human. So it immediately became a MIB case. You have to remember we have an astronaut. He's an astronaut. Then you have his sister. She's basically counterintelligence. She actually worked with von Braun. Von Braun had retired. Okay, so she's come to Nellis. She's looking for me. All right. Now let me get back to the story here. When I realized that the bodies in the church. Some of them had wooden teeth and all that. I
Jimmy,
immediately knew.
Jimmy, my drawer just closed on its own. It's never done that before. I think there's something here. Nikki, are you picking up on anything? This is a
Not at this second. Hang
Okay.
on. I got that's a higher consciousness thing for me.
Okay.
Hang on a second. Go on, because this is gonna just
All right.
keep talking, because it's gonna take me a moment.
Well, you may pick up. Look, if you pick up something, just say I need break on in. Okay, it may come to you in a few minutes. So what happened was, go there. I look around. I see stuff I don't like. Okay, so I head back to Area 51. I get back to Area 51, and when I get back to 51, they go, Trish and Daryl. It shows them being in a police station. That's not all the way correct. She called from the diner. They drove out, get her and her brother. And before they got there, the creeper shows up. He goes through Daryl's underwear, smelling it, sniffing it. And one of the waitresses there saw a strange man going through the car. Okay? So she's all shook up. So on the way back to bring them to the base, one of the MIBs was attacked and killed, escorting them to Nellis Air Force Base. And
Jimmy, I love you, but we skipped over a lot of stuff in that diner. Remember about the psychic and said meet the cats and that. You want to go back to that?
There was a psychic, but I'm going to say the psychic was. You got to remember, I'm coming back from Florida. I'm still coming back. Okay. I hadn't quite got to the base yet. Okay, so what happens is we have a local psychic that picks up on it. She calls, she talks to them, and they get to arguing. There's a hang up. Okay, I wasn't there. I just know that they're all shook up. They're trying to make contact with the MIBs. Okay, so I end up back at Nellis Air Force Base. They've taken Daryl.
Wait, Jimmy, hold on. She plays the Jeeper Creeper song.
James.
Can you comment about that?
James, we can't go by what you see on TV or what you see in the movie. Okay? Just because you see it doesn't mean that it happened.
All right. So do you want to comment about it or not? Should we just move on?
First of all, I'm not going to wrestle between you and the writer. You have to let go of some of this stuff. Okay? I'm trying to look. This report, I don't have the MIB report in front of me. I'm only going by what I recall 50 years later. I'm going back 5 decades, and you're being very, and I know you mean well, but you're too detailed, James.
I'm using this. Yeah, I'm following the screenshots. Nikki, you have something to say?
The item that was in your home has been removed. It was not, it was a creepy crawly. I had somebody help from the other side, but it's been removed. And yeah, this is quite the story and quite the experience that he's gone through. That's it.
Well, getting back up one picture, James. Go back to the policeman. Stop. That's an MIB there. He works security at Nellis Air Force Base. He's not a policeman. He works security at Nellis Air Force Base. He's a MIB. Okay? He's a MIB. There's not a woman with him.
So Daryl's excited, really upset, and these two security come out, and he's like,
James,
"Oh,
who said it was two? Just
well, in the
because.
movie, yes, but so how many were they?"
But James, we're going back that part about you're trying to be very detailed on something that's 50 years old. I have not got the report in front of me. As far as I know, it was just one MIB.
And then the
Okay?
creature found the underwear, the name,
That
right?
part is true. Okay? That part is true. Now, the phone call, I believe it was true because we had a psychic that picked up on it. But I was not there in the diner, nor was the policeman. You have to remember the policeman's, well, not the policeman, the MIB who was acting as a policeman has been killed. Daryl is killed. So now, where am I going now? You got me so confused, James.
Yeah,
Because you,
security showed up,
you,
base security.
okay, base security showed up. They're following him back to the base. They can't get into the base because other words, they haven't got a security pass. He is escorting them back to the base. And while he is bringing them back, he is attacked. His head is torn off of his shoulders. Now, the part about the road sign and the part about the creeper grabbing him, kissing him, and pulling his tongue out, that's very real.
I mean, the meat market sign.
Well, I don't know about the meat market. There was a sign, a road sign. See, we're going back to that. You're being too detailed about, well, there's a meat market sign. No, there's a sign that I know of, a road sign,
And
okay?
so
Go ahead.
basically, the movie's been Hollywood. The information has been Hollywoodized for the movie.
Exactly. You hit it
Okay.
right on. Right. See, James is trying, because he's got the picture in front of him, he's trying to go by every single frame. You know,
Well, he's also trying to tell a story and tell and have
he's
you, because
true.
you're an experiencer with it. So,
I'm not
but if
experienced.
there's
Wait, I'm not experienced. I'm MIB. This is what
yeah,
I
I know.
do.
That's what I mean.
Okay,
Sorry,
that's what.
I wasn't clear enough. I
Well,
apologize.
there.
But yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, but see, there's a real big difference between an experiencer and an MIB. What I do, I go to look at stuff like that. This is I handle people. I handle creatures like this. This is a creature I've never seen before. Okay, we don't have until we saw him. Well, I know about reptilians, but there's different species of reptilians. You
Oh
see,
yes, there are.
This species is I'm familiar with this particular species. I mean, I probably go through 50, 70 different types of alien groups because they interbreed, okay? This is interbred with something else. Now,
That's what I was wondering.
he's reptilian, but he's bred with something else. Now,
Yeah, because I've known reptilian. I've seen firsthand what different reptilians look like. And that's they're not always so pleasant. Some of them are actually nice, but there are quite a few of them that are absolutely not.
well, this what makes him so unique in the history of Area 51. Now, the Men in Black was created in 1947. We have I've had different aliens that tried to get off the base. I never had one that came on the base. This one attacked the MIB headquarters. When you watch the movie, you'll see Trish and Daryl uh, in the police station. That's not a police station. That is the office of where the Men in Black are working. We have a stockade. It's an old jail. And if we have extraterrestrial that's acting up on the base, we put them in that jail cell. Okay? That's the way it is. This is
And
what I this is
may
what
I
I
ask a question about that?
yes, yes.
So, regarding certain ETs, they have their own abilities. What kind of jail cell was this?
This is
Because
one.
most normal jail cells would not hold an ET, depending upon the race of
Well,
ET.
ha, have you any idea how many different species of aliens
Yes,
there are? Okay,
yes, I
okay,
do.
okay. Well, some of them we lock up. Some of
Yeah,
them
and
we can
some of
lock
them,
up.
yeah, some
Some
of
of
them can be contained.
some of them can be tamed in like glass. You know what I mean? Some of them,
Yeah, actually, I do.
okay. Some of them can walk through walls.
Yes,
Okay, so don't get
they fa-
too
they phase
don't
shift.
yeah, don't get too technical because one, this is a species we didn't know anything about. This was unknown species till it showed up. Okay,
Okay, so I've got another question. What
go ahead.
is this? Is this the only one that the MIB ever came across, or have they come across others over the course of time?
We come across many. We come across different species all the time. This
But
particular species,
yeah.
this particular species was never noticed to the night that it attacked the precinct. Look, I've had tall grays, I had reptilians, I've had astral beings. You know, look, I cannot categorize all the different species before.
Oh
To
yeah,
you
I
under,
understand that. Be too
to
long.
you un, yeah, to you know the characteristics of that particular species, you don't know.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, let me get back to the story
Yeah.
to the report. So after the security, the MIB man was killed. The security agent was killed. They witnessed Trish witnessed that creature pulling the tongue out of the mouth of this MIB here. And she ran over the creature. You can see it in the movie that she ran over it. And but see, it can regenerate. regenerate itself. Okay, it can regenerate. Now, once they got back into the base, okay, once they got into the
See
base,
how it's toying with them too, right, Jimmy?
I'm sorry, what,
It's
James?
like toying with them. It's like playing with them.
Exactly.
You see?
See, it won't. It's like adrenochrome. It wants adrenochrome. It
Yeah.
wants to make you a fear. The more you fear it,
Yep.
that's why he's toying with them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Feeds off fear.
Now the leg was damaged.
You see, it had wings. It's got these
It had
wings.
wings. It had wings. Okay. Now, once Trish and her brother got to the base, and they got into where the MIB, the office was at. Okay? They were brought in, they were questioned about, try to get, we're in disarray, okay? It's the weekend. We got MIB scattered all over the place. And just about they had been at, I want to say she was at the office maybe, I know, a good day and a half. I showed up. I showed up about a day later. Okay. I showed up about a day later. And when I showed up, is about the time I showed up is when all the hell broke loose. James, go back to where that woman is praying and the creature is going over her. Do you have that in the, see, that's the local psychic. See, that's the old jail that
I
we're
think we're
using.
going through this a little too fast, but yeah, so they're
That's the old jail. That's the old stockade we're using at Nellis.
and why
That's
do you
not
think
the that's not the new stockade. That's the old stockade.
what do you think this means? Where did you get those eyes?
Again, James, we're not going to speculate on how every we can't go word per word, frame for frame. Now that part, back up. You see how he's pulled those bars apart? That part is true there. Bars back, he's attacked one of the individuals in the cell.
Right, and they're no more.
He's killed him. Now, the, the security officer that comes in there with the gun, he shoots him. Can you get to that scene? What about there? Yeah, see that guy? He comes in there and he sees it, and he fires the shots. He's killed. The creature attacks him. All right, that part, stop right there. Now that part, I am shining my flashlight, and it's going right through him. That creature grabbed his heart, hit him from behind, and pulled his heart out. See, their reflexes are about 4 to 5 times faster than a human. Reflexes are very fast.
You guys didn't stand a chance against it.
I had my light on that backup, James. Don't
A lot of
my
ETs are like that.
All right,
Extremely fast.
I held my light. I could look straight through him. It hit him that quick. He was dead before he even dropped the floor. All right, the creature did go up the side of the wall. Okay? Now, sometimes these creatures wear anti-gravity belts. At this point, I don't know what's underneath his coat or what's underneath his, if he's got the belt on. But he crawled on the side of the wall. Okay? You see him there coming inside that wall?
Oh, wow. So it defied gravity.
Well, if he's wearing an anti-gravity belt, that would explain a lot of it. Okay? Now, I've gotten a close-up look at his hands, but it's not in that scene, but in Jeepers Creepers 2, I got a good look at his hands, and his hands doesn't have any suckers, on it where he could attach to hold himself. But now that part is true where he grabbed the psychic by the head, and she is praying for her life. She is frightened of this creature. Now, James asked me earlier about Jeepers Creepers. I can't speak for her because I don't have the report in front of me, James. So I don't know what she understands about what she picked up, because what's in the report is classified. It might have been blacked out, but she does work on the side, and like if we have an extraterrestrial, that's moving about, she picks it up at the base. Okay,
Nikki,
she's not a ran.
are you picking up on anything?
So I'm just thinking about that psychic and what she experienced.
Yeah.
Well,
I can't even, with my own ET experiences and what I have personally seen, I can't even fathom the kind of fear that this person had.
you have to
It's just,
remember
it's
this goes
mind-boggling,
back.
actually.
This goes back 5 decades, so that's a very far reach for you to go back. It's not like a recent crime that you can walk in and walk around and touch something. I mean,
I'm not one of those kind of psychics. There's a lot that I can do, and some people call it remote viewing. I don't remote view. I do a lot of extra higher consciousness work and that kind of thing, as well as going back and being shown a lot of information, and usually from spirit guides, usually psychic ability, various different kinds of ability. I don't need to get into all of that, but yeah, I understand. I get it. There's so many different people with so many different psychic abilities and clairs that yeah, I get it. I get it.
Sorry, Jimmy, I muted you because we're still getting feedback. Sounds like there's a fan right on you or something. It comes out occasionally. Why don't you unmute yourself again? There you go.
1 second, James. Let me do something.
Yeah, it's
That's
pretty
walking
bad.
around, yeah.
Okay. Connor's Dogman, our military asset, 100%. Tony Rodriguez was in the movement.
James, is it any better?
A little bit.
Oh, I found another thing.
Maybe. Yeah. Tony Rodriguez was in the movement of freight within the SSP programs. He stated there was a dozen or so of them as part of the transport op at least once.
James, I don't know what we're talking about here.
Yeah,
Are
there's
we going
people.
all?
Yeah, they're talking about dogmen in the chat.
Well, James, that takes from
I know, Jimmy,
this.
but you were away from your mic, so go back to the
Yeah,
story.
I mean, I just
He
didn't
was
want to
filling
get.
time.
Yeah, that's fine. I just didn't want. So I didn't know what we were talking about there. It
Yeah.
kind of threw me a little bit.
Was
Um,
psychic death, yeah.
all
Now
right.
what's this?
Now that part about the reverse mirror, that part is true. And he had gotten into the adjacent room. Now wait 1 minute. Now after he grabbed the heart from the MIB, after he killed the MIB while we were at, he, like I said, it's dark. We're confused. We're we're trying to find where he went because he moves real quick, James. But he got past us because we were shooting, every which way. He got past us. But once he got upstairs, uh, he's looking at Trish, and then he breaks through the glass and he grabs them and he smells them just like you see in the movie. He's smelling them. And now, when I went, me and the other MIBs, we ran upstairs and I went and got my M16. Okay, in other words, we went and got some firepower. We all got our M16s from the racks, and we ran upstairs, and that's when we got into the room. And see, he's right by the glass there. Now, what is happening? He has grabbed he's grabbed Daryl there, and Trish is between me and those two. And she is talking to him, trying to get him to let go of her brother. She loves her brother. And see, now I'm there in the background. See, we got our M16s. Now the problem we're having is that Trish keeps standing between us and the creature. She's so focused on her brother that she doesn't realize, well, see, I can't get a clear shot because Trish keeps stepping back and forth. Had she just moved to the side, I might could have taken a chance to kill it. But now that part where his head, you see the tentacles on his head opening up, that part is true. Now, the reason that's so detailed, after we killed him in Jeepers Creepers 2, we took a plaster of his face. So the color and texture of his face is very accurate, of his body is very accurate. That's what he looks like. Now, there's a little difference in the teeth. I want to say he had 2 rows of teeth, but then again, that was over 50 years ago. Okay?
Jimmy, you want to comment about the bodies and body parts? What was it actually?
Be a little more specific and
It was
detailed.
taking body parts and applying it to itself.
What he was doing, we haven't gotten to Jeepers Creepers 2 yet. I'll end up killing him with extreme prejudice in Jeepers Creepers 2. I took part in killing him. Me
Was he
and another.
was he
Go ahead.
eating everybody's livers?
The only one that I knew of was the other boy down there that he cut open. Now, the other bodies, you have to remember when I found the other bodies, I can't get them down to examine them. I had a call to get other MIBs to come in. Now, what happened? Let me finish the story here, and I'm going to back up to the church, okay? I don't like jumping back and forth, back and forth. It confuses us. Let me finish the story, and then when I'm through, I'll go back and go in more detail about the church. When he had Daryl, and he is holding him so tight he couldn't hardly breathe, okay? Now, the part about, oh my God, he did say that. This one said something like, oh my God. This guy is a trained MIB, and he's caught off guard. We're all caught off guard. Nothing like this has ever happened. This extraterrestrial has broken in to the stockade. He has attacked our precinct. That's never happened in the history of the MIBs. Now, she's crying. She's offering herself in exchange for her brother. And she is stepping left and right. She's moving. And I want to take a shot, but I can't take a shot because she's in my way, James. I can't say nothing to her because I don't want the creatures to think that I'm getting ready to take a shot. But had she moved just a little bit out of the way, I probably would have taken a shot to try to kill the creeper. Okay? So what happens is he takes off with her brother. He brings his wings up, and he leaps out that window. And we all run to the window with our M16s. We can't shoot because we can't get it. We're scared we're going to hit her brother. So we're all standing at the window here as a creature has flown out. Now, you see the moon in the back. He uses the moon. See, to me, he may use the moon, to see what he's doing. He may not even need the moon. He may be like a deer where he don't need any light, but there was enough light for us to see him with the moon in the background. So that part is true. Okay. The next day, her parents did show up, and she, like I said, you see her screaming, running out in front of the building. That part's all true. And I'm very concerned. She's gone into depression there. And see, the psychic is trying to talk to her. That part is true. Now let's get back to the church in Florida. That church stood to about 10 years ago, and it burned down. But what happened was, when the MIBs got to the church, the bodies were put in body bags, and they were removed from the church. And we took a bulldozer and we filled in the cellar because, we didn't know if there was more than one of these things. So the cellar was filled in with dirt. The pipe was pulled out. The cellar was filled in with dirt. And the church stood for about 10 years. Now, during the 10 years, the film crew showed up and they filmed it at the church. Actually, the church you see that, not the church in your background, the church you're seeing right there with Daryl with the flashlight, that is the actual kill site. That is the church that I went into. Now, what questions do each one of you want to answer?
Okay, I guess I'll start first. So, when he was run over, how did he recover from that so fast?
James, at the time, you have to remember they're taking her statements. This is an unknown species. When he showed up, you see his leg was kind of broke when he in the film. I mean, he like I said, when he drinks the adrenochrome, he's able to repair himself. You see him walking into the precinct with a broke leg or a part of his foot gone. But then when you see him standing with the hostage before he breaks through the window, his foot is repaired. So he's able to repair himself if he drinks adrenochrome. Go ahead. Next question.
Okay, did he use time travel to acquire the ambulance?
I don't know, James. I believe the ambulance was from a collector. He probably broke into somebody's house that had a garage that collects old cars. It's not far from a military base. So I believe who was collecting old cars and old ambulances, old vehicles, they probably bought a surplus ambulance.
And that thing was way faster than Trish and Derry's car.
Yes, because it's a military ambulance. It's built to run fast.
Thank you. Okay, next question. Why did the creeper choose Derry instead of Trish?
James is probably for the adrenochrome. He's
Was she pregnant?
not
Was
sleeping with
Trish
her.
was Trish pregnant?
I don't know because I wasn't sleeping with Trish. I was trying to had this not happened, I probably would have slept with Trish, but I had not had sex with Trish. I liked her, but I had not dated
Did
her
she,
yet. Go ahead.
did she have any medical examination after this event?
I know that she was traumatized. I believe at the time, usually, the secret space program, MIBs, we had to collect as much information from her as we could because all the information we collected, the intelligence report, we applied it to try to catch this creature. It took us about 2.5 months later, but we did capture it and kill it. I killed it with extreme prejudice. As far as a medical doctor, I believe that because she was, tied up with NASA and everything, so they debrief their agents very well, and because she worked for Von Braun, I would imagine, like I said, that NASA took care of that on their end. See, I'm Area 51.
Okay,
She's NASA. Derry's NASA. Now, let me say something else. In the movie, you see a red rose tattoo on his stomach by his navel. I'm not sure if it was Daryl's mother or if it was Trish, but Order of the Red Rose, kind of Rosicrucian stuff. Have you ever heard Order of the Red Rose?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's a cult doesn't mean it's something satanic. It just means it's something hidden. Like Kathy O'Brien, I believe, if I remember right, Kathy O'Brien was in Order of the Red Rose. I have to ask Kathy, but But I do know that a lot of the presidential models are members, not all of them, but a lot of them are they're members Order of the Red Rose. Go ahead with the next question. I
Thank you.
try to answer you about the medical part, but you have to remember it's 5 decades ago,
Yeah.
Oh, I
and
understand.
instead of me working with Trish, I never really got to work her. I thought I was going to work with her, but I never thought it'd be her own brother, the loss of her own brother. It
All right.
happened real quick. Go ahead.
We had a few more screenshots. I'm just quickly. Hope I'm not giving anybody epilepsy for that. But sorry.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Oh,
just
here,
I
oh,
mean,
here
I
it
don't,
is.
I don't,
Here's the foot you mentioned earlier.
his foot was gone when he got to the police station because we found the foot. I want to say his foot broke off, not in the road, but broke off at Area 51. Then again, it's been a long time, but um, go ahead.
Okay, so here's the last little screens I had. So she goes out. She sees all these these birds. Is there any significance to this?
Well, we never found where what he did with the body. I take that back. I think it was part of the body was found at an old abandoned factory, but the creature was not there. I don't want to get into part two because one, we need to get through part one and let everybody absorb it. Go ahead.
So
Who gave
Derek. Oh, go ahead, Nikki.
oh, who gave Hollywood the story? Because if this was an MIB case, was it the MIB that gave
No, no,
Hollywood producer the story?
no. MIB didn't do that. Let me tell you how that came about. A woman by the name of Sue Ford, she used to work for Henry Kissinger as a secretary.
Mm-hmm.
She's a presidential model. She also used to sleep with George Bush Sr. It's not uncommon for a presidential model to sleep with a president. That's why they call them presidential models. Okay? Now, what happened was Sue Ford got into the records behind she took a lot of the shows or a lot of the X Files that I'm involved in. She takes them. She goes through Senator Robert Byrd of West Virginia. He's dead now. He was on the Ways and Means Committee, and once the government blacked out the real sensitive stuff like the names of everybody, once they blacked out certain parts of those MIB files, they sold it to Hollywood. So they're going to get money for for this for these documents. They're going to get cash money.
Yeah.
Then you get somebody like James Cameron or Steven Spielberg. You know, I'm not naming them particularly, but I'm just giving you an example here.
Yeah.
Like
And
the
then
movie
they've
Pandora.
already, yeah,
That's real, Jimmy, right? Pandora.
yeah, I was at Pandora. So once they get these intelligence reports, they pay them cash. The writers get in, they make a movie. It puts people to work in Hollywood. A lot of these actors would have been, I, I mean, Hollywood would have shut its doors years ago. But All these reports are fueling Hollywood. Why is it that every time you cut TV on, you're seeing a horror movie or alien movie? You're not seeing a romance movie. You're not seeing a Western movie. You're not seeing a comedy. You're just
How about
seeing horror.
a romance movie with aliens? They don't want to do aliens impossible light, right?
It's the same old stuff that's been recycled. And how many millions did they make off this, James? Was it 30 million or 40 million they made off of Jeepers Creepers?
That's a
You
great question.
Go to Wapikia and put in Jeepers Creepers film and see what it grossed, how much it cost, and how much it grossed to make.
Okay.
Put it
Uh,
up. Put it up where everybody can see it.
yes, my computer is kind of freezing up.
Unless she could do it on her end.
I probably need a new computer soon.
Hang on.
Go to Wapikia, type in Jeepers Creepers film, and see
Yeah.
what it grossed.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, I see it. It had a budget of $10 million.
How much?
How much did it make? Yes, very good question.
What it cost to make it? How much they gross?
It grossed $59 million on a $10 million budget. Wow, that's $40 million. Yeah.
Okay. Well, James, if somebody hands you $40 million, would you take it or would you walk away from it?
I think that's a very good answer, Jimmy. I think I would actually take it. Yes.
Okay, so they're still selling the DVDs. They're still selling the DVDs. So they're still selling the T-shirts and the caps and the coffee mugs that has Jeepers Creepers on it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So those figures are probably out of date.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, most likely because you get years and years worth of and probably trillions of dollars, not just multi-millions of dollars. You probably get close to trillions of dollars by the time you add all the merchandise.
Well, if they decide to put it on TV next month, say a month from now, some company is going to pay the advertisement to put a commercial in there. So they're not through making money off of it. And that's just one
No,
movie. They still have a Jeepers Creepers too.
Yeah, there's 4 movies.
Hollywood
Jimmy.
is a big commercial industry. So
Exactly.
I mean, and it's also about control of the narrative.
Exactly. And they're controlling what the UFO groups see and what is heard. Now I can only tell you about Jeepers Creepers 1 and Jeepers Creepers 2 because I killed the creature in number 2. But I don't want to get into that. Now the other 2 movies, you said there was 4. More than likely, the other 2 are fictitious. I can only cover. See, once they start making money, then they start adding to the story.
Yeah.
So the other number 3 and 4 is fictitious. Only
Okay.
1 and 2.
Yeah, the second one made approximately $100 million.
How much did it cost to make?
It was 25 million, and it looks like it earned 119 million. Pretty good.
So that's what about not 80? How much is that? About 90 million?
About 4x return. Yeah, 100 million or so, just under 100 million.
Okay, well that's a pretty good return. I mean, once you have all your camera equipment paid for,
Yeah.
only thing you got to do is pay an actress to get in it.
Well,
Okay.
and then they've got the rights for the movie for however long too. There's so much in movie contracts.
Well, see, if you want to hide something, you hide it out in plain sight.
Yep.
Now, when Jordan Maxwell was alive, going back to the movie where Daryl had the red rose tattoo on his stomach, order of the rose. See, nobody's here to point that out because Jordan Maxwell has passed on. Okay? So the reason I know about this because now me and James has done what, about 24, 25 of these X-File cases.
Probably closer to 30.
Well, we still have about another 40 or 50 to go.
Yeah.
I mean, what I'm trying to say is all my MIB files, all these cases that I investigated are being made into movies.
So I've got a question for you that's a little off topic, but yet it's not.
Okay.
So what happens when you when you pass, when you die, if you've got files at home or at whatever location that you have, what happens to your files? Do you have them do you have certain groups that you plan on um uh having them inherit your files?
Well, let me kind of explain what's going on here. First of all the files are at Area 51. I don't have any
No,
files here.
I meant if you have personal files and personal notes on this kind of information.
All this is in my head. Now, what I read
Okay.
off tonight is what I just pulled off the internet uh, prior to the show. I don't keep a whole lot here because
Okay.
one, I'm retired. I'm former MIB. Okay, now as far as like what we did tonight, that's an oral history. James
Yes.
uploaded. James is going to upload it on his website. But just like James was talking earlier tonight to you, where he said they took down Harry into Henderson's film.
Yeah.
Well, not the film, but
But the information that you guys did.
yeah. Okay. So other words, James is being shadow banned right now. He's being censored.
Yeah. Happens
Okay.
frequently with a lot of people who are putting out information.
Well, so you got two types of individuals. You have the people that experiences it. You have the actual individuals that investigate it. I'm an investigator, a former investigator. If you want to know about a crime, go to the cop that worked the crime scene. Okay, you're a psychic. You're remote viewing a murder. Would you not want to go talk to the cop? Would you not want to go handle the evidence of the victim? Maybe you can see some psychics can pick up
Yeah,
if they.
if they allow it.
Some psychist wants to sit or talk to the policeman or to the victim to draw it out on a piece of paper. There's people who are psychic enough that can draw out a serial killer. Go
Mm-hmm.
ahead. I'm not saying you. I'm just
No,
making.
I know exactly what you mean. I'm the kind where I want to be on site if I'm allowed to be. But I don't need to be.
But
And I can usually get a lot of information in a lot of different ways because of the way my clairs work. So, um,
but had the church was still standing.
if
If you
the
walk.
church were still standing, all I'd have to do would be to touch the doorknob of the church or
Okay.
some pew or some section that I'm drawn to that has energy. And then I'll
Exactly.
start having I'll start having psychic visions and downloads and flashbacks and it can get really elaborate. Honey, I've had Capone come to me, try to scare the living crap out of me. So, I mean, I got shown what he did and all the horrific things that were not in file folders and all this other stuff. So, um, things don't typically, they'll upset me, but they don't freak me out unless it deals with children. Then I get mama bear mode and I'm like, nope, different ballgame.
Well, see, like when me and James talk, and James tries to follow the movie a little too close at times, and you see me putting the brakes on, like I did tonight on some things, because it's very easy to get, TV can hypnotize you. Do you believe that? TV can
Oh, I know
hypnotize.
that. I know that. There's a lot of, okay, so when you're talking about, for example, the movie Jupiter Ascending, there's a lot of actual ETs, real life ET. I mean, I don't mean the characters are real, that kind of thing, but the images of the ETs that are in that movie are very real. There are numerous in there that I went, whoa, holy crap. And but yet the storyline, absolute bunk. But the fact that they're putting in real ETs and specific little bits of tidbits of information here and there, that's completely Hollywoodized from real information. So that happens, that goes back a lot of generations. That goes back to really the beginning. So Hollywood and government have been interacting for a long freaking time. So the fact that it's been a slow drip through Hollywood is, and most people don't realize it. And that's the thing, is that you've got to, you yourself, not you, but the general public needs to understand that, and needs to understand that there are very real aspects and very real types of ETs and experiences that are being portrayed, but they've been Hollywoodized and grandiose.
Let me say this. Now, what we're looking at here is a form of soft disclosure. We're not realizing
Yes.
it. And another thing, I had an Ewok, Mo. He's my best friend. He's the first extraterrestrial I really got to know. If you watch Star Wars, one of those Ewoks is real. The rest of them are fake. But I can remember they took Mo and put him on a little scooter and put him in a room with a little green background screen, and he jumped around on that scooter. And there's one real alien. There's about 7 minutes of an Ewok. He looks like a little bear in Star Wars. I went to the room where they, put him on the scooter and watched them film him. I was there when they did that. We weren't hiding it, but it's a form of soft disclosure to get us ready
Yes,
for
it
it.
is.
Okay? So what I try to tell James is that, yeah, there's a lot of stuff in the movie, but there's like, it'll put you to sleep. It's hypnotizing. It's hidden messages all in these movies.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, I haven't even gotten to the X file on the Exorcist. X file 1, X file 2, the Exorcist. I'm the MIB that was involved in those two. If you think, I'm trying to prepare James where once I'm gone and, passed on, then he'll know what to do. But I have not, the reason I don't go to any UFO conferences because nobody's trained in that. I don't care. You get the 10 best investigators in the whole field. They can't hold water to me. I'm the actual guy that wrote the files. I'm an actual MIB.
Thank you, Jimmy, for your service.
Thank you. But just because you hear somebody like Stephen Greer, and I'm not talking about Stephen, it doesn't mean he's an expert. If David Icke gets on the TV, it doesn't mean he's an expert. I don't care what super soldier states on TV. It takes, I've been doing this since, I first had my first encounter in 1959. Okay, I was the youngest MIB in the history of the program. I've had
When was
some,
your sorry.
go ahead.
When was your last
Last what?
when was your last account, your last MIB what was your last what was the year that you retired?
When Phil Snyder was murdered, at that time, I just stepped back. I think Phil was murdered in what, 96? Phil Snyder?
Mhm.
That's when I stepped back. Now, in 1997, we had the Phoenix Lights. That's when, the Enterprise came down. Me and James have already discussed that. Um, but like I said, um, I don't need to go to another person to gather information because there's nothing nobody can tell me I don't know. Uh, you know, I did.
Because you've experienced it and you've witnessed it.
I used to have to go out and round these extraterrestrials up.
Yeah.
You know, like
Well,
I said, you talk to the policeman that worked the crime rather than talk to a reporter. The difference between me and a UFO experiencer is as much difference between a policeman and a reporter. Who
okay.
knows more? Who knows more about the crime, the reporter or the policeman? It's the policeman,
Yeah,
and
or the
I'm the
experiencer.
MIB. Yeah,
Like
that's the difference. That's the difference. When you see somebody like Stephen Greer, he's like the reporter. I'm not downing him. I'm saying there's a difference between an MIB and an experiencer. Go ahead.
all
Well,
right.
you've been trained.
Yeah.
I can't
Sorry. Go on, James.
like you. Nobody. If I want to see a psychic, I mean that's the difference between a real psychic sitting in a room or one that calls James on the phone and say, "Well, I dreamed something last night." That's why James brought you in. You're a psychic, rather than an unknown person that types in on the computer tonight. I dreamed about the creeper. Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I get it.
But but you can go into the church if it was there and touch something.
Oh, I could touch the trees. The trees will tell me.
Yeah, but you know what
Free
I'm
ener-
getting at.
I know exactly what you're talking about because tree energy, heck, even get your feet, bare feet on that ground, and wow, you'll get all kinds of information.
Well, see, I used to remote view. Me and you ever heard of a woman called Arizona Wilder?
Say the name again?
Arizona Wilder.
No.
Well, she's a psychic. She used to uh, do seances for Area 51 and for the Queen of England. Her and David Icke used to work together for a while till she figured David Icke out.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Mother Goddess, I've been knowing David Icke. Look, I met David Icke when he was 17 years old. He was telling me stuff when I was 17. He didn't see he has multiple personality disorder. He's a nice guy. He really is. But if the phone rings and it sounds like a tone, like from a fax machine, it'll send a signal through the phone, and he'll tell everything he knows, and then another signal comes through, another tone, and he can't remember anything. He thinks it's the wrong number. He hangs up. He's that far under mind control.
Oh, that's fun. That's old school.
Well, he's not a bad person. I'm just saying he's compromised. He doesn't know it. He doesn't know it.
Yeah, that's real old school. Telephone stuff, that's real old school.
He was driving himself to Tavistock Institute at 3 o'clock in the morning for his mind control, and after they did it, he'll wake up in his bed the next morning, not even realize he drove himself there. It was that bad.
Yeah,
And
that's completely different. A mind F.
well, I mean, like I said, he's the type of person to stop. You know, your tire's flat, you
Yeah.
change your tire. Have you got enough money to make a station? He can give you $20. I mean, he's a nice guy, but he's compromised. He doesn't
Yeah.
even know it. So
There are quite a
I've been
few, but
all through it. Yeah,
We still have a few more clips. Let's finish this
oh,
up
please, yeah.
before we
yeah.
start.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So Derry is now screaming. The last scene, and so they're playing the music. So I'm going to play the song. So we had this, right? Here's the rose. Jolly G, when you turn those heaters on, and then the last scene. So it was like eating his eyes. Right. And then it absorbed the eye or something like that, and it like put the eye in its own body. Okay. All right. Well, it doesn't ever speak at once. Okay. Great. And that's done. How about I play the Jeeper Creeper song? What do you think?
Go for it.
All right, everybody. Okay, quiet on the set. Let's do this. There we go.
I don't care what the weatherman says when the weatherman says it's raining. You'll never hear me complaining. I'm certain the sun will shine.
I don't care how the weather vane points when the weather vane points too gloomy. It's gotta be sunny to me when your eyes look into mine.
Jeepers creepers, where'd you get those peepers? Jeepers creepers, where'd you get those eyes?
Gosh, y'all get up. How'd they get so lit up? Gosh, y'all get up. How'd they get that size?
Golly gee,
When you turn those heaters on,
woe is me.
got to put my cheaters on.
Jeepers creepers, where'd you get those peepers?
Oh, those weepers.
How they hypnotize.
Yeah.
Where'd you get those eyes? Them there eyes. golly gee, when you turn those heaters on.
Woe is me, got to put my cheaters on.
Jeepers creepers, where'd you get those peepers?
Oh, those weepers,
How they hypnotize.
knock me out.
Where'd you get those eyes?
Where'd you get 'em?
Won't you put me wise?
Don't you jive me.
Pays to advertise.
Tell 'em about me.
Where did you get those eyes?
All right, let's take that one off. Okay. So there you have it. That was the music a little bit before my time, but if you're from the 1930s, right? 1932. Jimmy, I think that song came out.
Somewhere in there, James. I'm not sure why the producer chose that song. See, that's another thing. He inserted that. That's not air. That wasn't in the report.
Ah, interesting.
See, that's why I said just because you see it or hear it doesn't mean it was in the report.
Okay, so we're safe. Now we have to hear that music. Okay, but in the movie though, the music was coming up on the radio. You remember that part?
Well, James, I did make the movie, and I did not advise them how. Other words, it's different if they came to me and talked with me, but they didn't. They just picked the report up. And once I classified that report, it had to be somebody very high up to unclassify it. You're blank. I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. So you said to listen to the song backwards to get.
I said it'd be interesting to listen to it backwards, because I've noticed a lot of these movies that are made. I've been finding all kind of hidden messages in the movies, if not the commercials.
Thank you. Okay, next question. So, did I ask about why did the creeper choose? Oh, I did. Okay, never mind. Can the creeper go into our future? So,
James, it goes back to, it was an unknown species that we looked up and we were being attacked. Now, when I in the part 2, when I killed it, okay, I don't know. Okay, I didn't see a flying saucer. I just killed it. So we're going back. I mean, it's good to speculate, but let's not insert. It's good to speculate. Now, the bodies in the church, they had the wooden teeth. That tells me that possibly he could have had it. Or I went into the park, I found landing spots from possibly a spacecraft. There was a report of, a UFO in the area. I've looked for it, I hadn't found it, unless that's been purged. I did find landing spots to something that did land. But as far as time traveling, I find it interesting that some of the bodies had wooden teeth in it, and being so well preserved. Those bodies had been put in there after that church was abandoned, because that church probably abandoned back in the 60s.
oh wow, thank you. Okay, thank you. So next question: would you consider this thing a gargoyle?
James, it goes back that it's unknown species. Now, clearly it's reptilian. And like I said, the stone statues that's been all over the world, I think it's It's an eye of the beholder.
Okay. You asked me to play this, so I think we can get away 5 seconds of the movie, right? Okay. Oh my god. I forgot to turn the audio up. Sorry. Oh, it was even muted too. Oh, okay. Well, just trust me on that. Just go check out the horn. Okay.
Now, interestingly, a collector from Charlotte, North Carolina, bought the old ambulance and the old Chevrolet.
You mean the real ones? So was the real ones used in the movie too?
No,
Oh, good.
James, don't inject. So you
I'm
just,
asking a question, Jimmy. I wasn't injecting.
I understand, I understand, but you injected that. Was it the real one? No, it wasn't. Those are the cars that the movie producer obtained.
Okay. Last question. Is Trish still alive?
I don't know. I hadn't seen her since. Uh, I would imagine it traumatized her. See,
Okay.
she's used to working with Von Braun. Von Braun had just retired a few months earlier, prior to the Apollo 17 launch. I never got it. I met her. I was supposed to work with her. She did uncover a plot because the security was real tight around Apollo 17. So she was collecting information.
Okay, Jimmy. Thank you. So I'm done with my questions tonight. Nikki, you want
Go
to?
ahead,
Wait, wait, wait,
Nick.
wait. So I have I have a couple of things. Do you have any idea how old this ET cryptid, whatever it was, how old it was? Did anybody ever figure that out?
You know, I want to say it was autopsied, but I wasn't part of the autopsy. Now, it's stated in the movie every 23 years. I believe that did come up, but it was more towards the alignment of the planets.
Okay.
We, I think the way the planets were aligned, they were looking at when the alignment would come back again, and it turned out every 23 years the planets align a certain way. But I think that was just, they were, as far as feeding, no, that's just, they were looking at, they thought maybe the alignment of the planet. Usually when the planets are aligned, you have jumps. You know, they'll jump from one planet to the
Yeah.
next. A lot of people don't realize that.
Okay, so my next question is, did you ever catch it going through or opening a portal?
No, I just simply killed it
Okay,
with extreme
next
prejudice.
okay, so next question is, now this refers to the autopsy, and if you have any knowledge of this, did the body have any radiation on it or around it or in it?
I want to say they took a reading when we killed it in the field. There was a reading taken. It didn't show anything, as far as I recall. I did not autopsy it. It was.
What
Go ahead.
was there any EMF readings as well taken?
All I know is that we took, because it's considered a biohazard.
Yep.
Okay, you can get, it's believed that leprosy and Ebola can be, that these creatures can carry Ebola and leprosy. So, being it's a biohazard, people with suits came. Uh, they, like I said, took radiation readings. That's just standard procedure. This is not the first time we recovered a body. Okay, so is that helping you a little?
Yes,
Go ahead.
it does. Thank you. I appreciate it immensely, actually. And the reason why I brought up age and radiation and portals and EMF readings is because uh, ETs can be vastly, us humans cannot fathom the true ages of a lot of ETs. Some of them can be over 1,500 years old, all the way up to 3,500 years old. And so that's one of the reason, and I didn't know that until I got told that by an ET, which is a whole nother subject. Anyway, and the reason I asked about portals is because many of these beings can open portals and even create vortexes using their own energy. So I didn't know if there was anything in any of the documentation files about any of that. So that's why I was asking.
Yeah, Jimmy, did it portal into Area 51 or did it follow the car? Or do you know? Why don't you unmute yourself? Unmute yourself. There you go.
Well, first of all your questions are irreverent now.
There was
We,
so much time gone by.
well, we already know all this. You're not, we already know how to investigate these things. Now, we know about that they can live centuries, okay? That's nothing. You have to remember you're coming
Exactly.
to the source. You're not who you've only whatever you picked up off the internet is stuff that
This is personal experience.
whatever you picked up personally,
Yeah.
and I don't know your age, but I would imagine I'm older than you. So I've been knowing it for for many decades. All right, now um, we know when we do an investigation, it's real deep. It's done by many people.
Mm-hmm.
We set the standard, not the UFO clubs, not
Yeah, I
uh,
know.
in other words, just because somebody says, "Hey, I'm with MUFON," that doesn't they don't you don't understand it. There's a difference between a reporter and a policeman. I'm the policeman. The guy from MUFON is the reporter. Okay, he may seem knowledgeable, but we are the ones that do this. We're the ones that take these extraterrestrials. We autopsy them. We handle them. Area 51. I have probably handled several hundred alien cases. This is
Mm-hmm.
nothing that I showed up.
Oh, I understand.
Okay, okay. I am the government. I'm not. I'm not MUFON. I'm not. Um, what are some other popular clubs, James? Or
Well, there's like Bigfoot clubs.
okay, so
Cryptids. Oh, yeah, I get it.
yeah. See, you have the difference between them and me is that they're the reporters and I'm the policeman. That's the difference. I'm not down anybody. I'm just saying that we store them at Area 51. We autopsy them. I've autopsied quite a few extraterrestrials. Okay, you've probably seen some of my films. If you watch Alien Autopsy, I've been involved in it.
Oh wow! I
Right?
mean, that one's been like debunked.
What's that?
Hasn't it been like debunked? Some of those films.
James, it goes back to the reporter or the actual lawman. who are you going to believe? Are you going to believe it's because somebody got on the History Channel and they're going to debunk me? I'm the one holding the scalpel. Who's going to debunk me? I'm not trying to sell a movie. I'm not trying to do a lecture on to a UFO group. I don't even look. I don't go to UFO. When you had your little group at Montauk, did you see me show up? You didn't.
No.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just pulled up the article. It doesn't matter. I believe you, Jimmy. Okay, great. Thank you.
So it don't matter if you believe me or not. I mean, I know what
I'm just
I
asking.
did since. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you did.
Well,
Because
if you look up alien autopsy hoax, I'd just be kind of curious to see how they're trying to rip the story apart. Oh, they're saying like these canisters in 1947, the Department of Defense would not have been officially established, so there would have been no national military establishment or some. Yeah.
well, James, you can believe what you want to believe. I'm not going to debate you on it. Your mind, look, all you've done is hear this for all your life on with the UFO groups, the TV shows, every book you picked up. Get what I'm you
Yeah.
see what I'm getting at?
Okay, Jimmy. Well, let's wrap
Yeah, go ahead.
it up.
I mean,
Final comments. I just want to say thank you, Jimmy, for coming on here today, and also thank you, Nikki. I hope that you can come on again, and maybe we can hear more about your secret space program experiences when you're ready.
Yeah, I can probably do that now.
Well, yeah, not right now, but soon.
No, I don't mean right now.
Yeah, I know very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I want to thank the audience for joining in for over 2.5 hours now. So I also like to mention I'm putting on a conference October 8th to the 12th in Orlando, Florida. So maybe Nikki, I could give you a free ticket and we can go over to the Jeeper Creeper place and talk to the trees if you like. I don't know if you're brave enough for that. But
oh, I'm brave enough for that. That's not the issue. The heat's the issue.
Well, it's in October, so it's actually it's still summertime there in October. But okay, so go to supersoldiercon.com, purchase your tickets, and also go to healingsoulsurvivors.org and make a donation to help support the work, because the donations have been really helping out, and I appreciate everybody. I'm sorry I haven't written you back. If you have donated, I love you. Of course, I love you. Even if you haven't donated, we all within our means. And we're also looking for sponsors. So if you'd like to help sponsor Super Soldier Con. Oh, Jimmy, you got something to say? Okay.
Yeah, I want to make it very clear tonight that I'm not with James or with Nikki. I'm not with Healing Soul Survivors or any of these meetings. My work is independent. I don't take any money tonight. I'm not going to meet with any UFO group or talk to you one on one. I'm not going to give you any advice. I am looking for a corporate sponsor, and anybody that wants to get a hold of me can get a hold of James, and James will, like I said, will email me. But anybody that wants to follow up, just get a hold of James. You can ask James questions about the interview tonight, but I'm only going to meet with a corporate sponsor. And go ahead, take it from there, James.
Yeah, thank you. Definitely, we need some sponsors. We also need volunteers. So you can go to Super Soldier Con and fill out the form. So in addition, you go to neologicaltech.com, purchase a copy of my book over here. So Lone Wolf, it's over 400 pages long. I go into secret space programs, some of my own experiences, and get yourself a meditation device while you're at it to help you relax. I think that's it. I probably missed something, but check out the LifeWave video we have for you, and we'll see you all later. Nikki, final comment?
Just thanks for inviting me, and that's it.
Jimmy, final
It's
comment?
nice meeting you, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you do find, if there are any more serial killers in that part of the country. You know, me and James has been
Actually, there
talking about,
is.
me and James
There
have been
there
talking about, me and James have
sorry.
been talking about a serial killer up on Long Island. They've been finding all kinds of bodies up on Long Island. And that's why I kind of, tell people, don't go around the old Montauk radar, old Camp Hero, because we do have a serial killer and they've been dumping bodies all up and down Long Island.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Jimmy, for the great advice.
I
We'll make
will.
sure to stay away from Montauk for the time being. And that place is extremely expensive if you want to go on a summer vacation. Rental properties
Woo.
typically run for about four to $10,000. It can go up to $50,000 if you want mansion
Wow.
on VBRO. So yeah, just be careful when you go vacation. All right. Okay, we'll see you all later. Thank you, audience members. We love you, and we'll talk to you later. See ya. Bye. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode. Today we have LifeWave brand partner Arthur Gross with us again to discuss a breakthrough in pain relief, the LifeWave Ice Wave patch. Arthur, welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, James. Thanks for having me back.
Okay, great. So let's just jump on in. You were just showing us a little clip there of what the Ice Wave patch looks like, or at least what you receive when you purchase one. So tell us what it is and how does it help with pain relief?
The Ice Wave patch is drug-free. It doesn't put anything in your body. It works through the process called photobiomodulation, or light-making change in the body, much like vitamin D is created in your body as a reaction from the sun. They're drug-free, there's no stimulants, they're non-addictive, they're very easy to use, and they have immediate effect.
That's amazing. So tell us a little bit, how does it work?
It's a two-patch system, a tan patch and a white patch. You put the white patch on the right side of your body and the tan patch on the left side. That's for general full body pain. If you have specific pain, say you have a knee ache, you can put the brown patch directly on the pain, and then you set the white patch using the clock method at 12 o'clock. And if you don't have immediate relief, you can move it around to 3 o'clock and test it for how much relief you get. You should experience relief virtually immediately. And once you move it around and find the best spot for it, you leave it there. You can wear the patches for up to 12 hours, and they're going to get rid of your pain really quick.
Great, thank you. So do you have any information on any studies on how it affects the body?
Yes, these patches are clinically proven to increase mitochondrial function and reduce pain and inflammation. Some of these bullet points are they're fast acting for immediate relief, supports improved mobility, reduces inflammatory response, eases tension and headaches, eases local acute pain, eases all over body pain, works on chronic and acute pain, eases muscle tension pain, balances cognitive vitality. They're safe and non-addictive, no drugs or harmful side effects.
Can you discuss, is it for just localized pain, or how about the general body, or even more specifically, is this even addictive?
It's not addictive at all, and there's no side effects. The use of the Ice Wave patch, it's a class 1 medical device for pain control to have very important and almost immediate effect on the moderation of muscular contractions and tensions, as well as of the associated pain.
Wow, great. Thank you. So again, this is a 2-patch system. You would get, 30 patches in that little box?
That's correct. You get 15 of the brown and 15 of the white.
Great. So how long could you use each patch? And yeah.
Ice Wave patches are a 2-patch system. They may be worn up to 24 hours at a time, take to 1 to 2 days off, for 5 full days of use. So you can wear them 24 hours, but then you want to give it a day break.
Right. Well, I put some of those things on my father, and he kept it on for a week, but it's not a problem. There's not going to be negative side effects.
No, there's no negative side effects. And if you do forget to take any of the patches off, the reflective quality lasts between 20 to 24 hours. So if you forget to take it off, it'll just stop working after about a day anyway.
Fantastic, Arthur. Thank you for sharing with us today.
Thank you for having me, James.
Okay, so that's it for today's episode. Stay tuned for more insights into health and wellness. Take care, everybody. Please consider supporting Super Soldier Talk by purchasing your own Neo Meditation device. Your Neo Meditation device will help you reduce stress, integrate trauma, enhance intuition, enhance clairvoyance, and enhance creativity. Get yours now at www.neologicaltech.com.